Some people might say, well, then all we can do is vote them out, right? No. Christians are active against the weaknesses of a political party that's in power. What far too often happens with Christians is we remember the part about giving back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and we'll say, fine, you know what? He's in power now, but in 4 years or in less than that time, we'll get him out of power. But until then, they basically kick the can down the road. They punt and say, we'll deal with it then. That's not what Christians do. Christians look at whoever's in power and says, if that party has a weakness, then it is my responsibility as a Christian to work against that. Let me give you some examples of this. Far too often, I hear people who would say, you know what, I'm pro-life, and so I'm going to vote for a pro-life candidate. But they don't volunteer at pregnancy crisis centers. They don't foster children. They don't adopt children. They don't work with kids who have single parents. They vote for it, but they don't actually work for it. Or maybe you care about racial justice, and you'll vote for a candidate who will push down the line your idea of what that looks like. But you won't invite somebody of a different race over to your house to sit across the table with you and eat dinner with you and your kids, to get to know what they're like, to hear their story, to understand what it's like to be them. And the list, of course, goes on, but how often do we just let politics do what God has asked us to do? It turns out Jesus, though he has established the authorities, he indwells you. And so if Jesus is going to get stuff done in this world, it's not going to be through government, it's going to be through his church. So work against the current authority if you feel like they're doing something against God's word.